This is 2 days in a row drinking coffee. And I always say I'm going to do these videos more often to myself. Like, I've literally done hundreds of videos, but it was more than, geez, 2008 time frame, because it was before Obama was elected. There's some people out here on my Facebook that I've never met, that I've only met through those YouTube videos. But anyway, I'm going to make this one, put it up on Facebook and YouTube both again. And we'll see if I do another one tomorrow or not. So anyway, I like my coffee like I like my, wait, no, this is black coffee. So anyway, I'm just wasting time now. So before the internet, there would be things that would come up like urban legends and this was what really got Snopes going, is these sort of facts that would spread. One of my favorite ones, and my friend Matt told me about him trying to convince somebody that this wasn't true. One of my favorite ones was Mr. Rogers was a sniper in Vietnam, right? This was one of these that I heard over and over and over again from people. You'd be in a conversation and, you know, Mr. Rogers, he was a sniper in Vietnam. He had the most confirmed kills. There's all kinds of facts like this, right? And fascinating that would be true if that were true, but it's just not. And back in them days, it was really hard to prove that, right? You couldn't just go to Wikipedia and find an article about Ken Rogers. The movie hadn't been made yet. I never saw that movie. But side note, my younger brother Patrick, when Mr. Rogers was on, used to get mad because he said that Mr. Rogers was only talking to him. And if I said, no, he's talking to me too, he would get really upset about that. Anyway, sorry, Pat, if you're watching. Probably not, but anyway, so what makes people want to cling to those types of facts is they're fascinating. I'll see things all the time that are examples that are not quite the same as this, but like, and I've talked about this in another video that I made. There is a video of a guy recording from his car. He's recording this woman in a Tesla at a gas station, right? And she's trying to figure out where to put the gas in the car. And he is laughing so obnoxiously in this video. And so she can't figure out where to put the gas in the car. So she goes to all different places. And every time she goes to a new place to look for where the gas cap might be, he laughs even harder. And it's so embarrassingly stupid to me, because it's so obvious that this was all a setup. And people have showed me this video, and I'm like, you can't really believe this is true, right? Oh, I think it's true. I really do think it's true. No. The girl in the video was, I mean, by most measures, a very attractive woman. I believe she was a blonde. So she's fitting all these stereotypes, right? And the fact that this guy laughs like this, it's just bad. I see these a lot. My wife was watching one last night of this guy. He's doing the setup in his house, right? And he puts this fake snake in the toilet, and then I didn't watch very carefully, but he's wrapping something else up, and then he's like, I'm gonna get my, if it's his wife or whatever, because she didn't have the audio on, and we were just kind of, she was watching on her phone. She hates snakes, so that's when she saw that. She's like, look at this. So I'm watching it, and then kind of towards the end, she turned the volume up when this girl came in and she's looking at herself in the mirror, and it's just so obvious that this was set up. But people make freaking money doing these things because of clicks and this and that. But anyway, that's a long intro to something that is similar to this, but this is what I see a lot. If I see something that I look at it and I say, that's not right, or some information is being presented on Facebook or whatever, sometimes I'll comment. Now, if I had to comment on everything I disagree with, and I'm sure everybody's like this, sometimes you just scroll on past, right? It would be my full-time job, right? Obviously, because people just disagree on things, which is no problem to me. If somebody likes their coffee with cream in it, which I do on occasion, but most of the time I drink it black, I'm not going to hate that person. It's not going to be something that's going to disqualify you as being a friend of mine. There are very few things that I'm going to look at somebody and say, well, that person does this, so I'm not going to associate with them. To give an outrageous example, if someone was into child molestation, I would not be that person's friend. I mean, that's just the easiest thing I can come up with, right? So people will put these posts up that are, this is not the easiest thing off the top of my head to approach, but, and it's hard to articulate exactly what I'm talking about. But I see it so often that it's almost like a trend, right? Do you notice I say right all the time? Like, I want you to agree with me. I'm criticizing my own video before it's even done. So, as an example, I'll just give a real quick example. My brother Patrick, I'm going back to Pat again. Pat, I love you, man. You're my brother. But he posted this quote of LeBron James like a month ago or so, in the height of this whole protesting and all this stuff going on, and I guess some of that's still going on. I don't know. I don't watch the news. But so this quote was put, and it was a real like nasty sounding quote that I was like, wow, LeBron James probably didn't say it like that or something. There's more to this than meets the eye, which is what everybody should do, by the way. If you see something that's so outrageous, like Mr. Rogers was a sniper, rather than go, wow, that's awesome, I'm going to share, take a little time to look into it maybe. I've suggested this before, and I don't have time I don't have time for that. Whatever. Well, it's easy to do. You've got Google at your disposal. Even though I don't really use Google anymore, but I use DuckDuckGo. I DuckDuckGo'd it. That doesn't really roll off the tongue though, so I say Google it. So I Google the quote that he allegedly made, and sure enough, he did make it. Well, the quote was something like, I don't need no white friends, and I'm not hanging with white people. Just me and my homies are going to play ball, and that's all, whatever. Something like that. And I'm thinking, yeah, that certainly isn't a recent quote or something. It's got to be up. When I found it, sure enough, what it was is he had done an interview with somebody for, I don't know, documentary, and Man, my computer is trying to go to sleep on me while I'm doing a damn video. What are you doing, computer? So what he did was he did this interview, and basically he was talking about when he went to this school that in high school where he went to. It's like a prep school, or I think it was a Catholic school, maybe. I don't know. He won the state championship in basketball there, but he was basically saying, when I went there, I think it was a lot of white kids at this school. So he was saying, I didn't need no white friends and blah blah. That was he was basically summarizing his attitude that he had when he first went there as a freshman. Well, of course, you keep reading and he's going to bring it all together. And I realized how wrong I was to think that way. I don't know if that's how it was, but obviously the person the author of that original post made it look like that's LeBron James's attitude about life today, And it's just like, whatever you think about the guy, it does nobody benefit unless you have some big agenda and you have to build your agenda based on lies. It doesn't really help you either way to keep believing this or to keep spreading this falsehood. And because I'm able to come to, to the conclusion that this is wrong, to keep spreading this, that doesn't mean that I got LeBron James back. It just means that I care more about the facts than I do about trying to win some sort of argument about something, right? So sports figures is one thing, but when you get into politicians, now you're talking a totally different level. I'll use Trump because I'll piss everybody off with it, right? No matter what I say about Trump, he's got nice hair. If I said that, the people that have seen his hair will go nuts. So let's just say Trump comes out with something that he says today. Coffee. Like, you can only drink coffee with cream in it. Or no, you can only drink coffee black, because I'm drinking coffee black, right? If he comes out with, it's the only way to drink coffee. I can't do a Trump impersonation. It's the best way. It's the only way. Drink your coffee black. And he goes on and on how he makes, it's the best way to drink coffee. The only way to drink coffee. I'm not going to suddenly put cream in my coffee. But there are probably people that would do it, right? Because no public figure that I can think of has caused more irrational behavior on both sides of the guy than him. I can't think of anybody else in my lifetime that has been so, like, I shouldn't say divisive, just people have irrational freaking thoughts when it comes to this guy. I'm neither one of those. I'm not on either one of those sides. And I think there's probably more people. But it's just like, I have to take myself out of the picture when it comes to this guy most of the time. Because if I was to offer a little criticism of the guy, like call him a narcissist or something like that, oh, you're one of them never Trumpers. It's like, first of all, if you're a president, you're probably going to be a narcissist a little bit, because let's face it, to think that you have a chance to be the president of the United States, you got to be a little narcissistic, right? And so Trump is definitely that. I hit my tripod. Obama was the biggest narcissist that I ever saw until Trump came along and trumped that, I guess. But so politicians, if somebody makes this happened to me just a couple days ago. Kamala Harris quote that this is really hilarious because there was a publication on the internet that made a story about Kamala Harris, and I forget exactly what it was that they made it sound. Oh, we're gonna impeach Trump and then get our rightful place in the White House. If you've seen this quote, it's going to get shared again. It's going to get shared over and over and over again. And I know that this quote was made by the satire website, right? It was on one of these sites that, I don't know if anybody's ever seen these, but they make stories that are attractive to conservatives. But they're so kind of blatantly obvious that they're not true. And it's just bait. What it is it's bait for people to share it. Now, I could make one of these for the left and the right. I don't know if I'm creative enough to make them, day in and day out, whatever, but there's a lot of these. And if you go to the website, they don't try to hide it. All these over-the-top stories, they're hilarious. It's funny. I mean, it's not as funny as Babylon Bee, which is the best satire. It blows the onion out of the water. But anyway, I digress once again. So this site, there's a bunch of them. So I don't know. Taters is the word that they call the people that will believe anything. They're mostly white, whatever. They describe the tater, what a tater is. And so I've seen a few of my friends share these articles, and I'm like, this is satire, right? So they made this Kamala Harris satire, and somebody posted it and asked, "This isn't real, right?" or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah, it's not real. It was a satire site, blah, blah, blah." And somebody else kind of, took that as me defending Kamala Harris. I'm also Kamala Harris ambivalent. I don't know enough about her. Some people, it's good enough that all they know is Joe Biden's nominated her for vice president, so they're going to go after her like she is Satan or something. Anyway, doesn't mean I support her. So I get that an awful lot. That just because I point out, hey, this is wrong, and here's why, to me, it's important. I would be more likely to correct somebody that I have, like, maybe I'm aligned more closely ideologically with somebody. I would want them to get their facts straight more than somebody that is against me, because there's a term, and I don't know how long this has been around. Everyone has heard of straw man arguments, right? If you've heard the term Steelman argument, I love that. I love that philosophy, Steelmanning an argument. Michael Shermer, if you've ever heard this guy, he's got his own podcast. It's a really good podcast. I think I'm going to listen to that. In fact, on my run this morning, which I need to get going. But he calls it Steelmanning an argument. Basically, I mean, you can probably figure out what it is, but I'll describe it anyway. You take the other side of an argument. If you believe, we'll take who should win the election, Trump or Biden. Rather than, let's say I'm a Trump supporter. Rather than finding the most, like the low-hanging fruit of why it would be ridiculous to vote for Joe Biden, and, kind of knocking those out of the air, sharing a video of him stumbling over his words, kind of like what I'm doing right now, although not nearly as poorly. But what you have to do is you have to find the best arguments. And I guess the election is probably not the best example. To take another classic one, pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. If you are a pro-lifer and you want to try to argue your side, you don't want to come up with false things from the other side or easy things, or you don't want to misrepresent the position like you would with a straw man. You have to try to find the best advocate of being a pro-choicer and argue against that person, because that's only going to make your argument stronger by steelmanning the other side. But people want to find these ridiculous examples, and they want to misrepresent people's positions rather than actually argue with what that person is really saying. So that's one of the reasons I hate these little falsehoods that are spread around by internet trolls or whomever. So I've rambled long enough. I don't think there's a theme necessarily to this video, but I just I'm done with my coffee now, so I guess I have to end the video. Hope everybody has a good Friday and a good weekend. Talk to you next time.